Okay, so here we are in chapter 6, and I chose exercise number 6 to do this demonstration. So, first of all, I have started a part file, and I have my planes visible, and so the first thing I need to do is start with my boss, or my base. So I'm going to choose boss base. I'm going to select the top plane for this exercise. And then I'm going to go ahead and turn the planes off and begin drawing my part. So I'm going to focus the origin on the leftmost set of arcs. I'm going to do something just a little bit different with this exercise that we haven't talked about yet, but can be useful. So I've got my two circles. I'm going to go ahead and pan over because that's going to be my leftmost part of the part. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw the other side arc, and I want the center point of that arc to be in line with the center point of these arcs horizontally. And I'm going to go ahead and set these two equal to each other so that they can be the same size no matter what. So now I'm going to choose a line, come here to the quadrant, to the quadrant of my other circle, start the line command again, and there we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set these tangent to each other. As you notice here on this one, it automatically set that tangent to the arc, and a lot of times it will, but not always. And so we have to force that tangent, because if we don't force it to be tangent, it won't necessarily stay tangent. So now I'm going to trim, because I just want the arcs, not the full circle. And that is going to be my base. The radius of the base is not 3. It has a radius of 1. So this is going to become a lot smaller. There we go. Everything kind of shrunk together, which is a good thing because we didn't want to have our circle here become really large. Alright, so now this is going to have a line coming off of it. Line. Tangent, tangent, good, good. So now I'm going to set these two equal to each other. And that brings us out to that edge that you see. At this point, I can go ahead and trim that. And I can go ahead and set that radius to be the 0.75 that it shows in the book. There we go. I can also, at this time, set the length of that side from the center point to be 1.5, as it shows in the book. There we go. Oops. And it looks like I chose the wrong relation earlier, and I didn't catch that. But those should be equal, not parallel. They should be parallel as well, but we wanted equal. And because they're vertical, they are going to be parallel, so we're okay with that now. Now, something that was left out from the original base profile is that the center point to the other center point should be 2 inches. There we go. Now, I'm going to use the circle, and I'm going to start at that center point. And go ahead and draw a line here. It doesn't go to the quadrant this time. And we'll do some trimming to get rid of what we don't want. And I'm going to go ahead and come across there. We're going to have to trim that away as well. And so let's go ahead and let's trim away the excess stuff that we don't want. Let's use trimmed closest this time. There we go. We want this one and this one to be equal. Whoops. Equal. And this arc here does not go to the quadrant, as I said earlier. So let's go ahead and let's trim the excess so we only have that arc left. Like that. Alright. Now we want these two lines to be equal. And then we want to go ahead and set our arc size to be 0.75. And because it's 0.75 here also, just like our other side, we could specify that, come on, there we go. SOLIDWORKS taking a little bit of time to catch up to me. Alright, so that arc, we can constrain those two arcs to be the equal size. And then we just need how far from this side to this side, which according to the book is not the 1.1 or 1.2, but rather just 1 inch. There we go. And now we've got a couple more features we still want to add here. We want there and there. Now these are not going to be equal. This size here is 0.5, and this size here is going to be 1 inch. And so that defines all of the features for the entire part in one sketch. Now this is what I was stating earlier that is different. We haven't really talked about this before, but this can be a good method to use sometimes. It's not always the best thing to do, but in this particular part, we can certainly do this, and it's possible to have everything in one sketch. Now, how to use this is what we're going to go over next. So I'm going to go ahead and exit my sketch. It immediately wants to go into the extrusion because that's what we started the command with. We don't want the entire sketch, so the selected contours, I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Delete, there we go. But instead, I'm going to choose that because I want the whole thing, and I want it to go up by 0.25 according to the thickness they gave us in the book. I'm going to go ahead and exit, or green check mark that because we're done. And you might think that, well, we just lost all our sketches, and how are we going to do the rest? That's where we're going to go ahead. We're going to expand this. There's our sketch with everything in it, and we're going to show that sketch. Next, we're going to go to the Sketch tab, start a new sketch, and we're going to choose this top surface. And here's where it's really handy. We go normal to. Now, we want to convert entities. What convert entities does is we select what we want, which we select these lines from the sketch that we made, and it will bring those all up to the surface that we are sketching on. We can use the select chain as well, so if I want to, there we go. If I have that checked, all I have to do is select the one piece and it will select the whole chain. So then we green check mark, and it's automatically fully defined because it was fully defined in the original sketch. Now, I go ahead and I exit this sketch, and I can go back to Features, Extrude Boss, and now I want to pick my sketch 2, and if I turn this to look at it isometrically, it shows that it's only going to extrude that part that I selected in my sketch 2. And this one has a thickness of 0.5. Tell it, yep, that's what I want. Green check mark. And there it is. It looks a little thick, but if I edit the sketch, or edit the feature, yep, 0.5 is what it went, so that is right. Alright, so now we still have 2 more features we want to add. We can still do that with our original sketch still being shown. We go back to the Sketch tab, create another sketch right on top, turn it normal to, and this time we want to do convert entities again. I'm going to select just this one. This one's a hole, and this one's going to be an extruded part. So green check mark that, and again it shows that it's fully defined because it was fully defined in the original sketch. Exit that sketch there, turn that isometric, and go back to Extrude Boss. We can select our sketch 3, and this time the height needs to go up 0.25. Tell it OK, And there it is. The last thing we need to do, go sketch, and we're going to draw on this top surface again. We're going to convert entities, and remember, I just want to choose that circle this time. Choose OK. Fully defined still. And so we're going to exit that sketch, and this time we're going to go to the features and do extruded cut and through all. Tell it OK. Now we want to go back to the original sketch, and we want to hide the sketch because now we don't want to see it anymore. So now there is our completed part, all created from one sketch. To be able to use this, you have to choose your part wisely in order to be able to do that. Now you don't have to do the entire part that way. Maybe it only makes sense to do part of it this way and then part of it the traditional way where you just create another sketch and fully define it. But if it makes sense to do so and becomes helpful, you can create the entire part using just one sketch. And so that concludes the demonstration of how to create this part, and once I save it, it will be ready for submission.